Very
Jim.
good.
Hi there.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm in Los Angeles, overcast skies today. But I am pleased to say that no rain. That's nice.
It's 90 here in Detroit. If we have hot summers and crappy winters, I quit. I'm done. We're done.
Wow. I just did something for Detroit. I did that, the harvest, the food harvest telethon. I did a piece for that. I made a shake for the CBS affiliate.
For Forgotten Harvest. Good on you, man.
Yeah,
Good on you.
Forgotten Harvest. Yeah, what a great cause.
Yeah.
Really cool. And Detroit, love the people. As you know, we ended an amazing race there a few years ago, and yeah, what an amazing place.
But I know our time's limited. I really love Tough as Nails. I love the idea, especially now. There were so many things that we liked about it. The first was the fact that it's a group environment. You're not one and done. If you know, so many times we get attached as fans to someone and then they're gone. They're out of the game. But to see them continue through and support each other, and if there's ever a time where that's what we want to see, now is it.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head with that. There's so many reality shows where there are these fantastic characters. We spend months casting them, and then we fall in love with them, and then boom, all of a sudden they're gone. And with this show, just with the very nature of what this show is, to ask people who like this, who are working, some of them paycheck to paycheck, and people who have to work really, really hard for their money, to have them take time off work and then come on the show and then have them compete for the overall Tough as Nails title and then get eliminated and then say thank you very much and send them home, just felt wrong. So we wanted to create two competitions on the show. One, everybody competing for that Tough as Nails title to become to be the toughest of them all, win that overall prize of $200,000 and a Ford Super Duty truck, built Ford Tough.
Amen.
And then a team competition, a totally mutually exclusive, two mutually exclusive competitions. So even if you get cut from the team competition, you still have a chance to win money with your team. We have 12 contestants, so we make two teams of 6, and those two teams of 6 compete against each other for cash prizes. And what I will tell you is that of our 12 cast, nobody went home without money in their pocket, because
that's awesome.
Everybody was part of a win, whether it was, being the overall winner or whether it was being part of the team.
And I spent some time in the military, and I remember one of the things was always in the submarine service, it was the esprit de corps. I was never worried about the person to my left or my right, because we all had the same goal in mind. And when you're watching the show, and I had a chance to watch it, it's fantastic. I got the same sense that you really fostered in these people, these men and women, a culture of we're all in this together. And that's what makes working with your hands and accomplishing things like your life. I mean, growing up with your family, that is really important to you. And it shows. It's very genuine in this, Phil. It's not something, you don't come off as a host. You come off as just somebody rooting for them.
Yeah, I am. And thank you for sharing your story about being in the military and being prepared to do that as a job. We have a veteran on our show, Murph, an ex-Marine who's got a heart of gold, and people are going to fall in love with him because he is so genuine, and he's a family guy, and he's being prepared to put his life on the line for the rest of us. And we have other people on the show who understand, and certainly if you're in the military, you understand this, but other people who understand what it's like to be part of a team, whether that's being part of a team on a farm, or whether that's being a drywaller and you're used to, like Danny, who's a third generation drywaller, who's used to working with his dad on a team, or Leonard, who's a welder who's used to working on a team, a firefighter, Young. So people understand, every one of our contestants understand what it's like to be team. And we really wanted to foster that it wasn't just about, I'm going to get rid of that person and I'm going to push that person out. There's this mutual respect amongst all the cast members. Not that there isn't tension, not that things don't get heated and, they've got to figure things out. But at the end of the day, they respect each other and they respect what they do for a living. And you feel that it's like they want to be the best because they beat out the best. And that comes across throughout the show. Yeah, and we really wanted to drill in on exactly what you're talking about. And it does come from the heart for me. I come from working class people. There's no royal blood in my background. And most people come from working class people. Most people get this. Most people know, my grandparents, I remember, gave me a check, a life insurance check for $161 when I was 21 years old. And it was as if they had given me, their life savings. It meant so much to them to give me that check. And I remember getting welled up like tears. And they thought it was because I was so affected by the gesture. But it was really about the guilt I felt for thinking when I first saw the figure on the check that it wasn't a lot of money, and then understanding that for them that was a lot of money, and computing all of that as a 21-year-old kid and understanding
that's a lot.
That was a lot of money for them. That really was a big sacrifice for them to pay into that for 21 years. So I try to remember my humble beginnings, and I've tried to cast people on the show that come from humble beginnings because they represent the majority of people who are not wanting to be influencers and they're looking to be rich and famous and the next big superstar. They're literally just trying to put food on the table for their family.
Hey, we all joke about, you hear the comedians and stuff joke about blue collar, and it became like a punchline for a while. But think about it. All the men and women who go to these home improvement places and do jobs at home where we hang a door, we replace a toilet. You know why? Because I think this is my psychology thing. I think at some level, we don't have that sense of accomplishment in our white collar work. So when we can do something blue collar at home, it's this amazing sense of achievement, even as it's something silly as hanging up lights outside or edging your lawn or, hanging drywall. Yes. You want to do that. It's that physical, that is accomplishment. And again, it comes through in the show with Tough as Nails, Phil.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't know what that feeling is like when you mow the lawns and you do a really nice job and you do the edges, and then you sit on your porch with a nice ice cold beer and you drink the beer and you look out at the job you've done and that sense of satisfaction. Quite frankly, I go out of my way to do jobs like that, if only because in television, you never feel like you finish. It's never enough. It's always like you've got to do the next thing and this thing. You never feel like you're finishing a job. And with something like that, I envy that feeling that some people get when they can go into a house and someone's got a blocked drain and they can go in and they can make that, turn that person's life around, get the sink working again, fix the windows, replace a smashed glass on a car, or fix a car, or do something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that satisfaction of doing a job properly. And then the pride. I remember, my other grandfather, one grandfather was a mechanic, an aero mechanic in World War II. And then my other grandfather was a carpenter. And I remember my mechanic grandfather saying, look at these windows that your other grandfather put in the 40s. Look at this. Look how they still work. He puttied that glass into those, because in those days he used to putty them in. Putted the glass into the windows. Look at this, and it's still sliding perfectly. That's because your other grandfather's a perfectionist. And that was 50 years after they had been put in. And it was that sense of, he recognized the work that my other grandfather had done. And so my grandfather left school at 13 because he wasn't given a chance to go to high school. And he's one of the brightest people that I ever met. And I spend all my holidays working with him and learning how to use tools and a lathe and everything. I'm in here in Los Angeles. I have my grandfather's tools from the west coast of New Zealand in my garage, and I have like a little workshop set up, and I pick up those tools, and he's gone now, my grandfather, but I put that tool in my hand. We have the same size hand, and that tool, the handles on his tools, he used to custom all his handles. They fit in the palm of my hand, and I hold onto that thing, and I feel the power of that tool. And I think of him, and I think of the skills he taught me, and I think of him working for 50 years at the same at Betts Motors in Westport, New Zealand, year after year, day after day, getting up, never missing work, and the pride that he felt in fixing things. And that's what I'm trying to get across on this show, is that we need to get back to what's real and acknowledge that just because you don't go to university doesn't mean you're not educated, doesn't mean that you're not knowledgeable, doesn't mean that you're not worthy, doesn't mean that you're a contributor to society. We need to get away from that. We've got 3 million vacant trade jobs in this country, and we have 53% of college graduates who are not doing a job they want to do, or they're unemployed and they've got debt. And we just need to start thinking about the fact that it's okay to do some of these trade jobs, that it's a worthy vacation, and that we need to celebrate that once again, because America did celebrate that for a long time, and then we got away from it. We need to go back to it.
And you're talking to Detroit, man. That's what we do. We built the middle class here in America. That's it's from the Motor City. Tough as Nails, 8 o'clock Wednesday nights on CBS. Phil Keoghan, the host of it, and this is not your normal reality TV show. I'm kind of almost remiss to call it reality TV because it's more, and obviously your connection to it. Phil, you are always welcome on our show. You know that here in Detroit. We love you, man. You stay safe. Have fun working in the garage. Don't cut off any fingers.
Yeah, good point.
Good point.
Thank you very much.
Me that 10. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank
to
you.
see
It's
you.
a two-hour premiere, by the way, Jim.
Oh, on the 8th. I'll make sure we hit that. Yeah, because we're going to run that again next Wednesday as well.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks
bud.
for the support.
Oh, it's the best. Anytime. Seriously. Whenever you want. You got free access.
Thank you.